Welcome back to True Blue Podcast, a podcast created by Blue Devil Network and Duke Athletics to shed light on what makes student athletes human. I am your host, Shelby Baumgartner, and I'm so excited to announce that this is our 10th episode of the season, and our guest is Daniel Choi from the men's golf team. Today, we're going to be talking about him growing up in Westlake, Texas, the influence of his family on his game, and what it means to come to Duke and create his own career path golf-wise. Please give a warm welcome to Daniel Choi.
Woohoo!
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, of course.
Yes.
Okay, so it's our 10th episode. Great. We got to change it up. We got to do something different. We're going to play one of my favorite games, This or That, to kind of get us loose, get us going. Okay. All right, Daniel, first tee jitters or last hole pressure?
I'm going to take the last hole pressures because I think that means that you're in a spot to win it.
Absolutely. Houston Rockets or Dallas Mavericks?
I'm a Dallas guy, so I got to take the Mavericks.
All right, longest drive or softest hands on the green?
Softest hands, 100%.
Right. Okay, fast greens or slow greens?
Fast ones.
Okay.
Yeah, got to get them rolling.
Caddy or no caddy?
No caddy.
Okay.
No caddy.
Gronk or Federer?
Federer.
Okay, I know those are your two favorite athletes.
Yeah,
I did my research. Okay, hitting it out from the deep or hitting it out from the car path?
Give me the deep rough for sure.
Okay, Daniel, you just crushed it. All right, now we're ready to go.
Much.
You feel ready to go?
I'm good.
How did being from Texas advance your golf career?
In terms of school and just kind of the culture back in Texas, athletics was a very big deal. My high school that I went to in Keller definitely did a great job kind of understanding where my priorities were as a student athlete, and they did everything that they could to enhance my golf game by giving me off blocks, whether that was at 1 p.m. during high school. They would just let me leave and go and focus on my game, and I feel like the environment that I was surrounded by was just a lot of really good golfers, and so I feel like growing up I was surrounded by a lot of talent, and that definitely pushed me golf-wise.
Did you play anything else outside of golf, and what made golf stick?
My older brother played baseball, and he was a really big influence in my life as well, and so I kind of tagged along and played baseball with him, and I played until I was probably 10 years old. The 10-year-olds were throwing the ball really fast, and it made the ball really hard to hit, and so I talked to my dad a little bit about it, and he was like, why don't we put the ball on the ground? I think the baseball swing had a big impact on the golf swing, and that definitely made it kind of easier to situate myself into the sport, and I just had a lot of fun. It was an easy way to spend more time with my dad as well, just knowing that he's out there practicing and being able to practice with him. But yeah, after maybe a year or two, I realized I'm actually pretty good. Daniel,
is there anything that comes to mind when you think about what is my first golf memory?
It was at the Masters actually, and I was caddying during the par 3 contest, and I remember it was on the 9th hole of that par 3 course, and it was probably like a 30-footer down the hill, and there were thousands of people in the crowds, and I hit the most perfect putt that it looked like it was going to go in, but it just barely missed, and I just hearing the crowd ramp up as it got closer, and then the dreaded "ah" sound. That was pretty funny, but it was a really good putt. So I remembered that, and I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and so I was just
and your dad trusted you at that point.
I was just
wow.
I was just a little kid, just rolling around in the grass, having fun. I had no idea where I was. I had no idea the importance of the tournament. I was just.
You're like, man, my dad must be pretty good at this or something.
I was just in a white jumpsuit having some fun.
You talk about being surrounded by talent. When did recruiting start to pick up for you?
Definitely freshman year, I'd say, high school. Those invitations started to kind of just flood through the mail, and so that's definitely when I was kind of feeling a little bit more pressure playing in tournaments, seeing coaches come out to watch.
I saw an interview with your head coach, and you were an easy recruit for your talent, but also for who you are. He described you as sunshine on and off the greens. Where does this stem from?
I would say a lot of it stems from just the family culture back home, as well as the faith that I'm pretty deeply rooted in, I would say. Not to put too much pressure on myself, not to put too much pressure on others. We're all human. I understand that people make mistakes here and there, but also just there's a lot of negativity in this world, I feel like. And so, just whatever I can do day by day to, be a light on someone. That's definitely how I was raised back home.
Can you describe to me the golf climate of where you came from?
In high school, I know that some places around the world, or around the country at least, they maybe have a fall season or a spring season, but similar to college golf, in Texas, high school golf, it was year-round, just fall events, spring events, kind of the same structure as I'm playing in now, and that definitely, just getting acclimated to that throughout high school definitely prepped me pretty well.
You come from a pretty faithful background. How does this background influence you and who you are?
I guess foundational, both on and off the golf course. Just really helps with identity. A golf score doesn't define me, a homework grade doesn't define me. Where my faith is at this point in my life, I guess it just takes a lot of pressure off of things.
Daniel, something notable about your story is that your dad is K.J Choi. Not only was he your first caddy, but he also won on the PGA Tour and the European Tour. Can you talk about his influence?
Like I said earlier, I was always surrounded by talent, and so, it was definitely a big role model for me. It was pretty eye-opening, I guess, as someone who aspired to be the best golfer that I could be, and just watching one of the greatest golfers in the world day by day. That was definitely a lot of influence. Just seeing how he practices, how he carries himself, how he handles adversity, whether that be on the course or off the course. Just growing up with him as my dad definitely, gave me a very good idea of what it takes to become a professional athlete, and how much work goes into it. And by no means is it, a walk in the park.
Right. That's a pretty high status first caddy to have.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you speak to his influence on the Asian culture?
When I was younger, traveling with him to all the tournaments, I definitely saw it a lot there, just because, let's say we were at a tournament in just somewhere in Florida. There would be 100 Asian spectators, and every single one of them was probably watching my dad. And so just being able to, kind of just see, that he can tap into these cultures, specifically the Asian community, wherever he went and wherever he competed. Yeah, that was definitely pretty cool.
What specific influences has your dad had on your game?
He laid the groundwork for me. He taught me how to swing a golf club, and still occasionally, maybe once or twice a week, we'll FaceTime down here on the range and talk about my golf swing, and I'll send him videos and he'll give me some feedback. And so, yeah, pretty good person to have in my back pocket.
Your dad has had multiple experiences of being on tour. What was it like riding along with him on that journey?
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. It's funny because a lot of people ask me if I've played a specific golf course, and most of the times I'll say no, but I've definitely walked it watching my dad. Yeah, it was really cool. A lot of cool experiences getting to meet other tour players and just kind of see a behind the scenes of what it's like to travel on tour.
Your dad was the first Korean to earn a PGA Tour card. Can you tell me about the associated pressures of being a child of a talented athlete? Kind
of almost been hanging over my head ever since I started picking up this sport. It's very easy to be compared to, what I aspire to do and what he's already done. I try not to think about it too much, but it's definitely there. Definitely very big shoes to fill. How have you made a name for yourself on and off the greens? I try to do my very best to, just be me. Really just go out and be the best version of me that I can, whether that's making 8 birdies in a row or, just holding the door for somebody. Really just trying to be the best version of me. Something notable about your dad is that he is known for his historic wins, but he also has a very giving nature. What does this say about him and your family when he donates a lot of his earnings to churches, to victims of natural disasters, and to the underserved members of different communities through his K.J. Choi Foundation? It's bigger than the game, and I think that's kind of the approach that we like to take as a family, whereas, it's bigger than winning a golf tournament and those earnings and, whatever status that gets you. And it's more of leaving this world a better place than it was when we got here. Yeah, whether that's donating back to different charities or natural disasters, or really just helping those in need who, aspire to be golfers, just as the K.J. Choi Foundation does. You've shared that you've had various experiences on incredible courses. Do you have a favorite? Yes, I will say that I was fortunate enough to play Riviera, which is in Los Angeles, and that is by far my favorite golf course.
You've also had a lot of different international experiences. How has that matured you or influenced you in who you are today?
Yeah, I guess I'll say when I was probably 10 years old, I was lucky enough to play in a tournament in Korea, and probably on my first hole there were cameras everywhere, multiple news outlets holding those big broadcasting cameras, and that was definitely really nerve-wracking, but I feel like it was those kinds of situations that trained me on maybe what it would be like to be on tour or just to be in the light.
What I find most special about you is you've really paved your own golf journey, Duke contributing largely to that. What role has Duke played in all of this?
Coming to Duke has probably been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. In that whole recruiting process, it was a tough decision, but Duke was ultimately the right decision. And yeah, I just feel like the community that Duke has given me has just given me so much peace and joy off the golf course, and then just being surrounded by 10 teammates who are like the best brothers in the world. That's definitely something that's really, really helped my golf game. And we always say it's nice going home, because when you go home and you're that college golfer, you're like the best player, and you're the standard, I guess. But at this school, it feels like I'm surrounded by everyone who's the standard for where they came from. And so it's just pretty great being surrounded by a bunch of people who, you're trying to be better than, I guess, and that's definitely something that pushes us all.
You speak about your teammates. You have a very small squad, but you call them your brothers. Sure. Can you tell me about the college experience of it being an individual sport and a team sport as well?
Yeah, I mean, golf itself is definitely really interesting in the sense that pretty much played everywhere as an individual sport, and it was created to be an individual sport. And so when you put it into a team aspect, a lot of it's just off the course, and I feel like that's where the team part of things is really the strongest. And how can we build ourselves to be the best individual versions of each other? That's what I love the most about it, just because we're out there for 4 hours playing 18 holes, grinding it out, and knowing that if we're not playing a great round, you got a team of 4 other guys who can pick you up.
4 other guys. Exactly. Oh, I love that. Something special about Duke is that we have the Washington Inn Duke Golf Club right around the corner, right near campus. This is where you guys practice. Tell me about the importance of this.
Being able to walk from West Campus over to the golf course, or even just driving, I mean, it's just so close, and makes it nice, trying to fit practice in between classes, practice up until 15 minutes before class, and then just head over. And so, it's definitely made the opportunity to practice and get better every day much stronger.
Now we're going to dive into your game. How do you approach a round leading into it?
I guess I try and game plan the golf course and, kind of have an idea of what I want to do out there. On the mental side of things, I kind of just tell myself to go have some fun, take less pressure off of, the round and whatever tournament it is. Because ultimately, if you just go out there trying to have some fun, then the sport itself is already so mentally straining that there's no need to add more to that.
What is the best part of your game, and what is the part of the game that you're trying to improve?
I'd say my short game is definitely the best, and that kind of goes hand in hand because I'm not the longest hitter. And so, yeah, getting some speed off the tee would definitely be great.
You have had the opportunity of getting a lot of memorable wins. What was the most impactful win and why?
It was actually over the summer. My dad and I, for the first time in a while, we were playing on same days, just in different tournaments. And he was overseas playing in Scotland for the Senior British Open while I was in Louisiana playing in a tournament. And because of the jet lag and the time difference, I would finish right before he would start a round. And so it just so happened that by the end of the third round, we were both in the lead. And we had been talking to each other after every single round, and he called me, told me good luck. I won the tournament. And then I called him and I said, it's your turn. And then he won the tournament. So just being able to win on the same day, that was definitely really cool.
That is so special. I saw the picture on your Instagram of you guys being stacked on each other with big trophies, big medals, and amazing smiles on your faces. How special is that? Full circle moment. Leading back to your golf career, golf is an extremely mental sport. A lot of it is on you and your game. Can you tell me how you overcome these mental challenges?
Golf is one of the least rewarding sports. It's just very easy to get a bad break, or there's a lot of, different factors that play into a round. And so, on the mental side of things, when things aren't going my way, we all have these yardage books that kind of give a layout of the golf course, and inside those I usually stack them with Bible verses and things that just help me calm down and help me not think too much about the golf round. And so, yeah, it's just things that kind of distract me in a positive way has definitely been really helpful on the course.
You talk about your scorecard. You have verses on it to kind of get you through the journey of the course. Right. Can you speak to some of those verses and what they mean to you?
I guess the first one that comes to mind is James 1:2. Just says, consider it pure joys, when you face trials of any kind, because it is those trials that can create perseverance. And that verse was given to me by a youth minister back at home. And, it was in a time where I was, really struggling with kind of the golf, the school. Yeah, it was definitely that verse that I definitely really held on to. And, it just kind of brings everything big picture of just, I guess it's a different perspective, because finding joy through struggle is definitely really difficult to do on the course.
What makes golf unique, starting with the courses?
It's a really interesting sport. Everyone's a different player, everyone has a different playing style, and every golf course is different. And, any one of those playing styles can have success on any golf course. And so a bad driving day, but a good putting day can lead to a good round. And sometimes you just don't make any putts, and sometimes you make everything. And so, yeah, I think that's definitely the most interesting part about the game.
Daniel, community service is extremely important to you. Can you speak to those experiences?
I've learned a lot, and I wouldn't have learned so much if it weren't for the upperclassmen or just the resources that Duke has to offer. Being an action leader was definitely really, really awesome with you, trying to help freshmen out with whatever they need, answering any questions that they have. Those kinds of things are definitely really important to me.
And that is so special. Like, that's offered by our university to help those in need and help those that are younger than us. That's what I love about Duke. Daniel, the dreaded question, but as you look into the future, what are your aspirations? What do you hope to get to?
I guess a year and a half left in college, so a degree would be nice. Hopefully I can push that through. There's just so many opportunities for college players to play professionally, and so I decided that I'm going to give it a shot, and wherever that takes me, I'm excited to see. And it has been my dream for the longest time, and so that's the goal for now. And then I guess later on down the road, I've always wanted to be a broadcaster, and so calling the Masters has always definitely been something on my mind. Broadcasting would be really cool as well. But I guess those are the two things.
Daniel, I did not know that about you. We have that in
go.
common.
Yeah,
that's amazing. We're on par, if
yeah,
you will.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Yeah, of course.
You're
Thanks
well-spoken, you're faithful, you're such a great representation of the Duke community and beyond, and we appreciate you sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you.